Twitch right now when it comes to stuff like this. This is how it goes, right? You get your wire out and you just stand in a big circle like, oh, I hate Destiny more. No, I hate Destiny more. No, I hate Destiny more. No, I hate Destiny more. And that's what it is, right? And then you get into the other section of it, and then it's like, no, I hate Vosh more. No, I hate Vosh. It's just a circle of people trying to dedicate themselves to how much they hate each other. And whoever hates the most is the most lefty. And that is the true lefty unity. Is the more hate in your heart, the more left-wing you are. Those like Discord messages where like Bad Bunny was calling people F-slurs, if we're gonna start like going on that we need to, Pete was ashamed of being gay, calling like queer people F-slurs, and the constant use of the N-word, and how gay, bisexual black people are disgusting, or any of that stuff. That was like public knowledge. So again, right? This just feels like rules for thee, for not for me, man. It's so hard for me to like take this kind of Puritan like moral stance very seriously. This time, Mike from PA and the Serfs, another engagement on the Mike from PA front, right? This time, it was Mike from PA trying to basically say that the Serfs will never admit that Mike from PA was right about Destiny being a closeted right-winger, and that the Serfs, once again, is just catching up to him. The Serfs then responds with, this is not the reason why we fell out. The reason we fell out was because you were talking behind my back in Discord groups, in Discord calls. I wanted to watch this back and forth and see exactly what's going on here. Well, it's not really back and forth. It's more Mike from PA complaining about the Serfs on his live stream, and the Serfs getting angry about it.
On this, when I messaged him about this, and I was just like, this is as like a friend, as a human, where I'm like, hey, by the way, like I'm not gonna make this public. I just want to say, like, someone sent this to me. It's like, it's really, really upsetting that you say this kind of shit behind my back. Can we talk about this? And he fucking tried to lawyer from PA me. He responded to that with like, I would advise you not to listen to recordings that were recorded without my consent. All right, last little quick piece of drama. I wanted to address the
one last thing. A local business burned down, sadly, in my community that was ran by Cambodian refugees, and they are very close to meeting their GoFundMe goal to completely rebuild. And so during today's stream, if you put !donation in chat, you can go to the GoFundMe, donate to this local small business, and help them raise some money to help them recover. So if you've already supported the channel and you feel like you still are in a giving mood, please go help them out. They're a wonderful local small business, and be sure to say with your message on GoFundMe, like, hey, Dylan sent you here. Dylan Burns sent you. I just want to send them over some love because they're so close to meeting their $27,000 goal.
All right, last little quick piece of drama. I wanted to address the new MikeFromPA allegations against moi.
So I'm done with this shit. Just know that I'm always right, and all these frauds will prove themselves to be frauds.
Huh. Thing is, I was waiting for like a hint. Well, give me a second here. Wait.
And, you know, for example, you know, when I told...
No, that was unironic. Oh, that was unironic. I thought there was going to be like a hint of irony there. Like he was going to turn to the camera and wink or something. No, that was unironic. Like, I'll say stuff like that every once in a while. Like, guys, you know why I'm right? Because I'm always right. I'll turn to the camera. I'll be like, I'll move my hands around. I'll make it very like jokingly. That didn't have a single like hint of irony. Like nothing. There was no irony on that whatsoever. I have no clue why.
Told the Serfs that Destiny was a right-winger in disguise. It was probably, you know, not a good idea to always be platforming him, and you know, he seems like, you know, he's addicted with attacking leftists.
What I don't understand is the like platforming Destiny, like we need to stop platforming Destiny thing. Because as far as I'm aware, TheSerfs is not bigger than Destiny. Destiny has over like 350,000 subs on YouTube. Destiny was a partnered streamer, but still has a gigantic Twitch following. Still has pretty large YouTube streams. I don't know how TheSerfs like stopping like platforming and quote unquote Destiny would be like a particularly like would do anything to stop anyone from the closeted right winger, which I find that's ridiculous to label Destiny a closeted right winger when the like one time like there was 2 times he actually engaged in like political activism, and both times he was supporting like Democratic candidates. And you can say, well, they weren't left wing enough, but it doesn't make him a closeted right winger. You can just say like Destiny's a liberal. You can just say that. You can just say he's a liberal. He's not a socialist. He's not a leftist. You can just say that he's a liberal, and just end it there. And just say you don't like his liberal beliefs or the stuff he says on Twitter about like online trans communities or stuff like that. But he's not a closeted right winger. I find that to be ridiculous.
And that's his entire fucking vision. It has been for over a year. He got mad. But now, Destiny turned his hatred towards Lance. And now this is what he's tweeting. Weird.
Okay, so first off, Mike, fuck you. Fuck you very much. And secondly, you came forward and you talked to me about that stuff, and we were totally fine. We were totally fine. You sent me DMs, we even had a conversation offline about that. And there was nothing more to say. It's not as if we had any kind of like fight or anything that happened after the fact. That was pretty much the end of that conversation. And then we had great times after that, or so I thought. And the reason a lot of people ask me like, why do you not like Mike from PA? It's because he's a backstabbing scumbag. And while he was saying like, hey, by the way, we're friends, we're totally cool, he was saying some really, really fucking gnarly shit behind my back. Someone reported that stuff in a public Discord of his. They sent it to me. And so, yeah, I've got a 10-minute recording of Mike just saying the worst fucking shit about me for a solid 10 minutes. And just like petty, childish, high school level, like fucking, his numbers aren't as high as mine. My numbers will always be the greatest. All this kind of bullshit. And also calling into question like my indigenous activism. Just,
So I will say, like, Mike from PA, like, I haven't heard the recording. I can't, like, comment on the recording. But Mike from PA is just somebody who really cares about, like, views and stuff like that. I would think he would admit to this, because every conversation I've had with him where I've tried to, like, work with him, particularly on, like, the Hippy Dippy Championship, I tried to set up matches between him and Vosh on multiple occasions. And we'd try to do it for, like, a month at a time. We'd try to get it. And the main argument he would make as to why he shouldn't talk to Vosh was, like, it's not worth it for like the views and stuff. I wouldn't bring in no more community stuff. It's not worth it, right? So he is somebody who cares. It's not like, well, I wanted to grow intellectually or get anything intellectually out of it. He just, he would look at it if he was to engage with something like that, which I would assume would be unpleasant for him. He would care about like the business perspective of it, right? So he is somebody who cares about that. So I don't find that too hard to believe. Definitely when I remember, he tried to like do that like jab at Vosh once. It was like, Vosh is irrelevant, and then he was like on Twitch, and he had to like put that at the end because he had to like step back and remember that Vosh is gigantic, like much bigger than him, and even way bigger than me. Mike from PA, averages 1.5 to 2, or like 1.3 to 2K on Twitch, like an average Twitch stream, I would assume. Where if you look at like an average Vosh stream, it's like 5 to 6, and that's just on YouTube. If you add Twitch, that makes him like 7, right?
Again, complete scumbag behavior. So the thing that pisses me off about him is that he's not honest. Like there's a lot of people, for whatever reason, if they hate me, and if I compare DSA Destiny to Destiny, and if we're going to talk about MLK from PA, Destiny will tell me to my face, or tell me in his streams, I fucking hate you, Lance.
Bro.
Or just say shit, like he's a fucking spineless, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he'll say that out loud. He won't be like, I like Lance.
He can say a lot of things about Destiny, where I would see like he'll like put out a Twitter take, and I'll be like, you know what, I think I'm going to stay away from Destiny for this week or something. Like that like him either arguing about the deer discourse or whatever that was. I don't even want to get in. I don't even want to know what any of that was. Or he'll like dig into the what he said about like online trans communities in particular, or of course his famous protesters statement, which he like clarified a million times afterwards. But oh my god, that original clip just almost feels like Trumpian in nature. He'll just honestly say things. There's a lot of things you can say about Destiny, but he's not like, I don't feel like he's like this dark hooded individual like hiding his political beliefs. He's always been like pretty honest about them. I mean, if we remember like the original like Destiny engaging with the right in 2015 to 2016, the type of discord he engaged in when it comes to like things like the moral quandary of incest, right? Which I'm not going to delve into that, but he's not somebody who's not going to bite the bullet for biting the bullet's sake.
I like Lance of the Serfs. He's a good guy. And then meanwhile, I'm going to get some leaked recording where he's just like, oh, I fucking, Lance is such a fucking baby, bruh. And then you're like, okay, well, yeah, you're a two-faced piece of shit. It has absolutely nothing, okay? Absolutely 100% nothing to do with Mike being like, Lance, you shouldn't platform Destiny, and me being like, how could you say this? I want to keep platforming him. I can't wait to platform Destiny again. Oh, we're not friends anymore, Mike. How could you betray me? Like, not that is a lie. You are lying to your audience. You are lying to like.
Here's another thing, right? It feels like Destiny the streamer is like a litmus test. And it's really strange to me why he has become a particular litmus test. For example, right? If we remember the Serfs talking to JF, right? He debated JF, right? A lot of people had problems with his performance and how he did in that, right? JF is an basically self-admitted white nationalist who argues about the genetics against like why race mixing is bad and stuff like that. Not to mention the court records on like him possibly violating. I haven't checked the court documents in a while, but him possibly violating that mentally disabled girl. I didn't hear anything about how bad that was from like Mike. I didn't hear really much about like how terrible that was just generally online. In JF, no matter how much you hate Destiny, is far, far, far away, way to the right of Destiny, no matter how skewed your political compass could possibly be. And so it feels like Destiny and like the hatred of Destiny does not just go as far as like, well, is he right wing or is he like exactly the litmus test we should be using to test on whether somebody is like a good lefty or a bad lefty or whatever. And it feels like there's a lot of like personal emotions and personal like scuffles that people like MikeFromPA have had with Destiny that comes into play on whether like Destiny is the litmus test or Vosh is the litmus test or any of these people are the litmus test. Do you get what I'm saying?
2,000 people right now live. How many thousands are going to watch this video afterwards? You are just lying. So again, be transparent about this shit, you know? Anyways, I'm going to skip past him watching my...
Why use incest as a subject for thought experiment? I think a lot of it had to do with shock value. The reason that Destiny always gave was because he wanted to test people, like, if they've thought about their, like their foundational moral values and they've, like, found backing for it. But I'm pretty sure 90% of it was the shock value that came with it. Because, yeah, it is a shocking question to ask.
I mean...
Talking with Sargon of Akkad, WHO, BreadTube, the NHS, and more. Old Destiny, debate with Sargon of Akkad. New Destiny, chatting with Sargon of Akkad.
Cool.
I will say, so watching Destiny just like play League with Lauren Southern was bewildering to me. I mean, Lauren Southern is the great replacement girl who lit flares off the coast of Italy to turn back migrant refugee ships. She is quite literally the worst of the worst. Not to mention, like, of course, the recently perpetuation of the certain LGBTQ plus pride, fulsome, like, pictures trying to equivocate the two with the kink event, with pride events, and etc. Like, watching him just, like, play League with her in, like, a friendly setting. to be fair, I didn't watch the league stream. Let me be 100% fair. But from everything I've heard and like for like the 1 to 2 minutes I checked in, it wasn't like a combative stream. It was just them two chilling out playing League of Legends, which of course can give a very positive impact of an individual like just playing video games, making Lauren Southern look a lot more friendly than she really is to, say, migrants.
I'm so happy you liked my content.
They argued a good bit. What'd they argue about?
So happy you're using it for your fucking streams so you can continue to lie about me.
Saying the N-word is a human right? Well, it is in America.
Wait, when did the N-word debate happen? Is that new? Oh, wait, that happened years ago? Oh. Now...
Yeah, strange. You know, when you platformed Destiny multiple times, you went on his stream and then you had him on your stream. You did that a handful of times. It's how you grew your first like little base of subs. Do you remember that? You know, the same thing you were calling me out for?
Destiny's bad, though. See, Destiny did the ultimate sin. He attacked Lance. That cannot stand.
What a fucking Weasley...
The thing is, Destiny did the ultimate sin. He attacked Lance. I remember the jellyfish, like spineless jellyfish line from what? Like late last year? That is something that's been going on for a much longer time than since this recent like Twitter video that Lance uploaded of Destiny like being friendly with right-wingers, right? So I don't think the line is as simple as like, oh, Destiny just like said a bad thing about Lance, so now Lance has turned against Destiny. He passed the jellyfish debate. He had multiple debates with him. Not to mention, like, he had the, of course, Destiny versus Richard Wolf debate. They debated, after I had that Lycan versus Lance debate, he talked to Lance about the issue of military recruitment on Twitch. They've had a lot more discussions past that. So it isn't as simple as he turned against Lance, so now he must die.
Little liar. Like, holy shit. Like, he's trying to pass this all off as like it's some strange narcissism, you know? Like where it's just like, oh yeah, at the end of the day, like he crossed Lance, and no one is allowed to do that in Lance's books, but it's totally fine everything else, you know? Lance never once criticized Destiny for any of his takes. In fact, you'll notice when Lance platformed him multiple times, he was just on there agreeing with all of Destiny's worst takes. That's what that was. Over and over and over. Fucking what a weasel.
Now he's bad.
Can I be honest about something? I remember a while ago, I went on Destiny stream for just some random moment or random thing, and then like something was brought up about Mike, and it was like his old statements about Pete Buttigieg. And I'm trying to remember exactly what it was because it's been a very long time since these statements have been made because it was during the Democratic primary in 2019. But it was about like Pete Buttigieg not. If somebody can find the clip for me, I'd really appreciate listening to it. About Pete Buttigieg and his like homosexuality and his like bad gay activism or something along those lines. And I just like, the clip was presented to me and I was asked my opinion of it, and I said, well, if this is in context and not out of context, yeah, this is a pretty bad clip. And then like days like passed and I just get this DM out of the blue and it was like, so I heard you were like talking shit about me on Destiny's stream. And I responded like, well, I mean, I was asked about the clip and I was honest about the clip and it never went any further, but I was like, I never knew like where that came from. And from what I know, maybe it was like a statement of like, oh, maybe we need to talk in private, or oh, maybe these are the type of things you resolve behind closed doors. But I never understood like when that moment happened, what exactly he meant by that. Does he still stand by the statement? Does he still stand by what he said about Pete Buttigieg? Oh, did somebody just send it?
I see what he is. He's a conservative. Yeah. He's a conservative ashamed of being gay, who won't stick his neck out for his own fucking identity. He's an opportunist. He's a scumbag. Yeah. And anybody who with any sense of smell can smell a rat.
Yeah, so that's a
God. That is so fucking gross, man. I forgot about. So if anybody doesn't know, when you're queer, it's very difficult to come out. And you have a lot of fears around being queer and coming out. About family members who will no longer accept you. About your community no longer accepting you, about a lot of people no longer accepting you. And you just want to live a normal life to some extent, right? You don't want to hurt anybody. You just want to live a normal life. And so Pete Buttigieg, 2015 was like the time when he eventually like came out. Like way before I came out, he came out. And I didn't come out till 2021 because I was scared about certain reactions I would get from family members, from my community. I mean, I remember like fears around who I was as a person, like being extremely detrimental to my like personal like mental health and like how it would affect me. And so I 100% understand Pete Buttigieg not coming forward until he did with his sexuality. 100%. 100%. And to say he's like some like conservative or he's particularly ashamed of being gay because he wouldn't come forward or because of his pill comments is backwards. Is really backwards. Because, you know, a lot of people who are gay would rather not have to go through the struggle of knowing if their parents are going to still consider them a human being and part of the family. A lot of people would like to not have to deal with the fact that them being gay could completely destroy their careers and their livelihoods. Because we all know the lavender scare that happened for government officials and others, where they were kicked out of the government because being gay was a liability during the Cold War. We all saw that Harvey Milk got shot and anti-gay lynchings that occurred. I remember when I was running the mayor's campaign, the first gay mayor of my city, last election, having somebody who ran against him just because he was gay, didn't want a gay mayor, and publicly outing city officials who were LGBTQ+. And how terrifying was that? Were those LGBTQ+ city officials, like, were they ashamed of being gay because some of them didn't want to come forward with their sexuality? Was I ashamed of being gay and a conservative because I didn't feel comfortable expressing myself due to how I've been socialized and that was drilled into me, and being somewhat fearful of like the reaction I would get? Anyway, I reacted to this clip like how I think anybody, and the thing is, at the time I wasn't even public with it, but it struck a chord. It struck a chord with me, like how it felt painful hearing that. And so obviously, like, I didn't respond positively for it. And instead of like, I don't know, like a message of like, let me explain what I meant by that, or I've like moved on from those positions, he just stuck in it and was like, oh, I heard you were talking shit. Because it wasn't like, well, maybe Dylan has problems with this statement or anything. It was just me talking shit. And this whole premise of this like stream segment that Mike was doing was the idea that the Serfs will never admit he was wrong and I was right. He would never admit that I was correct because I'm Mike from PA and he was wrong. But I mean, this is blatant right here. This is this is blatant. And I mean, maybe if somebody can like show me like a clip where he retracted this, but dude, I never like felt like this statement like just, it was something that like really hit me the wrong way. And I never went on like some crusade with this clip, right? It's a pretty easy clip to like demonize. But I don't know, man. It's hard for me to hear people like, I need you to apologize or admit you were wrong, when they would never do the same. Never. So are other people's feelings invalid? Like, are homophobes' feelings invalid? Yes, I believe their feelings are invalid. I believe the feelings of homophobes are invalid. Yes. Yes, I do.
Stupid argument, but of course not. I love everyone. So wait, then why don't you if you love everyone, then why don't you love the Jews the same as you love the gays? Do you
why
love
would Bernie
the
drop
gays
out?
more
Can you
than
explain?
the Jews?
Okay, I want to understand this person's
Let's just go along with this
electoral-
identity politics garbage. You love the gays more than you love the Jews. Let's just ask you that question. Obvious trolls, obvious.
Jesus. I can't even begin to take that apart. Let's go back to the video.
Now he's bad. He would never say Mike may have been right. No, he won't do that. No. He played League with Lauren Southern. Yeah, pretty sad.
Why don't you just tell the truth? Like that's the thing that's fucking.
By the way, if I played League with Lauren Southern, this is standard. And fair enough, right? Fair enough. If I remember correctly, those like Discord messages where like Bad Bunny was calling people F slurs, if we're going to start like going on that we need to, Pete was ashamed of being gay, calling like queer people F slurs and the constant use of the N word and how gay, bisexual black people are disgusting or any of that stuff. That was like public knowledge. As far as I remember, that was all public knowledge. So again, right? This just feels like rules for thee, for not for me, man. It's so hard for me to like take this kind of Puritan like moral stance very seriously.
Fucked up about Mike is he lives this like little fake persona where he's kind of like got this cult of personality going on and everyone buys into it and they don't ever talk about the truth, you know? Like he could very easily come out and just be like, hey, by the way, what actually happened with me and Lance has nothing to do with my calls of destiny.
Bad Bunny feels like a Nazi, pretends to be a lefty, not gonna lie. I don't think she's a Nazi. I just think she's someone who's had really disgusting takes in the past and is now, in the matter of 2 years, gone completely in the other direction to such an extent where she's like willing to use people's suicide attempts against them when somebody, all I did was post like a picture of like Destiny on Twitter. Didn't even, like I said, hey, here's my pet. I made fun of Destiny and somehow that was me doing like a terrible offense to the point where you need to bring up my suicide attempts.
That's not why he's mad at me. It's 100% because I was talking shit behind his back and it got leaked. And Lance has a copy of the recording, and it's super embarrassing. Oh, and then do you want me to take this a fucking step further? Do you want to learn how fucking greasy this motherfucker is? When I called him out on this, when I messaged him about this, and I was just like, this is as like a friend, as a human, where I'm like, hey, by the way, like I'm not gonna make this public. I just want to say, like, someone sent this to me. It's like, it's really, really upsetting that you say this kind of shit behind my back. Can we talk about this? And he fucking tried to lawyer from PA me. He responded to that with like, I would advise you not to listen to recordings that were recorded without my consent.
This is like the same. I remember this right here is like the same arguments that people will like somebody goes through somebody's phone and finds out they were cheating on them with like 20 different people, and then it's like, well, okay. Yeah, sure, but why'd you go through my phone? How'd you get my passcode? Past that point, any like problems that you could have had with like going through people's phone are completely gone once you found out that that person cheated on you with 20 different people, right? Any moral code you could have against Lance for not even himself recording, but someone else recording and getting the recording to him and him finding out that that MikeFromPA was talking behind his back. Any moral quandary you can have with that is gone once you got 10 minutes of you shitting on another human being.
And I was like, dude, are you fucking serious right now? Like, will you not just address all the claims you made in this fucking, like, in this audio and just talk to me as a fucking human? As like a quote unquote friend?
Again, it's just like that no comment chick stuff. It wasn't about, once I found the recording of her staff trying to go after my career, or all these old clips or statements, or people saying, hey, she said this terrible thing or she said that terrible thing. I got all these statements. It was no longer about the statements. You couldn't make it about the statements, because if you made it about the statements, it was very obvious who was in the wrong. So then she just threatened to send me to prison, citing the law incorrectly. Terrible.
You know? And then he's still passing this lie off. He's still telling his like thousands of people watching, thousands of people, like this is irresponsible platforming, you know? lying to your audience of thousands of people that like, oh, this is all because Lance felt betrayed by Destiny. That's the only reason he's actually like on this board. And you've got these people. Lance is a fucking moron. Yeah. Oh my god. You know, Lance will only like turn on someone after they're no longer on his side or his base. Like fucking lies.
Sad. Pretty sad stuff. All right. Well, anyway, just wanted to show you why, you know, the shoe-on heads of the world are fucking wasting, you know, again, a week before Nina Turner. She wants Nina Turner to run for president in 2024, by the way. That's what she was saying in October of 2020. Now Nina Turner is actually running for Congress, and the only tweet she gets is, she didn't even retweet the Medicare for All march.
Speaking of the Nina Turner race, a lot of people are a lot of people are saying, oh, it's over for Nina Turner, or oh, Chantel Brown is done with this recent story. All polling indicates that the Chantel Brown versus Nina Turner race, no matter what side of the aisle you're on that race, I'm hardcore in the Nina Turner camp. It is neck and neck right now, with Nina Turner having a slight advantage in polling. It is neck and neck, and you could not ask me like who I think. I think it's a coin flip on who's going to end up running that race, unironically.
Out there in the fight with us,
So, all this being said, my biggest take on all this is that like there's a lot of shitty people in the online sphere, and a lot of people like. Let's be honest, the whole thing is fucking high school. It really is. Like I came onto Twitch and I was so happy to see how friendly everyone was being, and there was all this camaraderie, and we were all like rating each other and hosting each other, and things kept evolving into more and more high school, and to the point now where it's like it's so garbage how much people are just like shooting at each other and firing at each other. But again, like I make a very big distinction between people who are going to tell you to your face, I hate you, you're an asshole and stuff like that, and then people like Mike who will say it to your face like, I like you, we're friends, you know, we have a great relationship, which in essence is his way of saying we have a working relationship that benefits me, and that's as long as I'm going to take this. I mean, look to any other person that he had a working relationship that those people thought was a friendship. I'm not going to talk about their own personal stuff. That's their own drama. You know, I'll leave that to their own side. But to then lie to your audience and continuously lie to your audience that this entire thing has something to do with me feeling like I was betrayed by Destiny. I never fucking agreed with Destiny on all his like horrifying inflammatory stuff. I've been canceled by his community so many times. I'm just not someone who likes to like spout off on Twitter and then not defend my positions in like a real engagement or platform. Like I think if you're going to say something out loud, you should be able to defend it in a debate or in a conversation. Like you shouldn't just put stuff out there that's like, oh, abolish the CIA, and then if someone's like, so what exactly did you mean by abolish the CIA? How do we achieve that? What are your goals? What's the long-term plan there? All that kind of shit.
Can I be honest? I don't know. Like, see, having like tried to like do stuff. This Bad Bunny clip is insane. I don't care about like digging up old clips right now. It was just the one clip. I don't know how Mike like organized like politically. And I mean, I've met a lot of people in politics that like talk and kind of act like Mike does. But I'm not that really surprised that Mike like is more like leaning towards this now. Or maybe particularly just did stuff in finances. Like, I don't know if he really could have done, like, PR for any campaigns really effectively, or could have really, like, been a candidate that effectively. I know that he did run for office, and that went under from everything that we know publicly about the incident, that the campaign filed stuff incorrectly, and he said that it was staffers who messed up. Not him, whatever. We'll never know the truth. It's whatever. But it's hard to see how he behaves behind closed doors and how many people don't like him and like believe that he could have kept really working within politics outside of maybe finances. Because the thing is with finances and campaign finance is as long as you know how to like work the numbers well, the same thing with a lot of times like people who manage like lists and do data management, is those are the people that like as long as you can do the numbers well, your personality traits. You can act however really you want, as long as it's not enough to piss off the people above you. And of course, Mike from PA doesn't piss off Hassan, so he's good, right? But besides that, it's hard for me to like really see like him ever running for office again. It's hard for me to really see him ever like working for like making a candidate look good with PR or anything like that. I really think the future for Mike, if it was back in like political organizing, would either be in finance most likely, or like just keep doing what he's doing now.
Right? And then whatever the fuck this is, you know, where it's just like, I'm going to tell my audience one thing, which is a complete lie, and then put that out there and then have them believe that. Like now there's thousands of Central Planning Committee people who think and believe that me and Mike spat started or ended because he was like critical of me and Destiny. That stuff happened like months before I was ever like, what the fuck did you do? You know, like why?
I feel like a lot of political Twitch right now when it comes to stuff like this. This is how it goes, right? You get your wire out, and you just stand in a big circle like, oh, I hate Destiny more. No, I hate Destiny more. No, I hate Destiny more. No, I hate Destiny more. And that's what it is, right? And then you get into the other section of it, and then it's like, no, I hate Vosh more. No, I hate Vosh. It's just a circle of people trying to dedicate themselves to how much they hate each other. And whoever hates the most is the most lefty. And that is the true lefty unity. Is the more hate in your heart, the more left-wing you are. The more you hate other online personalities, the more left-wing you can be.
Why are you such a two-faced liar? Months before all of this, to be totally fair. Anyways, that's my TED Talk. That's my drama rant. There you have it.
Anyway, the only thing past this point is he says that, like, if Mike from PA disputes that the recording exists, then he'll release it. But he doesn't want to release it right now. I mean, I guess my take on this is just... It's so strange that Destiny and the hatred of Destiny and Destiny has become a fault line for so many people. I feel like it's a stupid point to make a fault line out of. And secondly, it's so weird to just see the continued bridge genocider, Mike from PA, continue his onslaught against every bridge in existence. And you want to know the weirdest thing? I don't think I've ever burnt my Mike from PA bridge. I don't think it's exactly a stable bridge. I think it's probably one made of, like, I don't know, dental floss. But I guess, like, if I'm completely honest, and I'll be honest about it, my relationship from Mike from PA, if I was ever to do anything from him going forward, it's not because I like the guy. It's honestly because it would just be like a business thing. Like, you know, maybe I could like make a few bucks out of this, or maybe I could like grow my audience so we could grow together out of this. And I don't think there's anything particularly bad with you just keeping like a cordial business relationship with somebody. Because I'm just being blatantly honest here that like Mike from PA is just not somebody I could vibe with. He reminds me of like the yuppies that I know from like university. But besides that, like, he's just not somebody I vibed with. I would say the thing that finally for me like killed the like me vibing with Mike from PA like ability, like what closed that like wormhole from existing, was his discussion with Hunter Avalon. It was such a disingenuous discussion where every mistake he made was just bulldozed over to just pivot to another position and to never like accept the fact that he was wrong about something. Whether it was Hunter Avalon's old videos or accepting Hunter Avalon's explanations for why he hasn't deleted everything and he's continuing to delete over long periods of time, or his speech at that one conference that he lied about when he said he was making transphobic remarks when that was not the case. Any of that. It just didn't... I don't know, man. It just seemed like such a disingenuous discussion. It felt like, really, like, that as long as Mike from PA doesn't like somebody, he's gonna just, like, do everything possible to, like, find something to throw at them. For me, I'd, like... I don't know, I could just say I just don't like somebody, I just don't vibe with them. Or, you know what? You don't even need to not like somebody to not vibe with somebody. There's like a few people I don't vibe with, but I don't hate. Cormentine, I don't really vibe with the dude. I don't hate him. I just don't vibe with him. Kamazotz is another person. I don't vibe with Kamazotz. I have no reason to hate him. I just don't vibe with him. Even if I don't hate Mike, I just don't vibe with the guy. Anyway, that's enough of that nonsense. Oh my god. Anyway, Xander Hall? No, I can vibe with Xander Hall. I can. But remember, Xander Hall screwed Xander Hall, guys. That was all him. That was all him.